Coronavirus continues to wreak havoc. India recorded the biggest single-day jump in a number of patients and deaths linked to the illness as 3,900 new cases were reported. 195 COVID-19 patients died in the last 24 hours. This takes the total number of cases in India to 46,433, including 1,568 deaths. The recovery rate now stands at 27.5%. Health Ministry sources say that India's doubling rate has slipped to 11 days now. We have Radhika, who's joining us from Mumbai. We've got Rishika, who's joining us from Hyderabad. Okay, Radhika, Maharashtra and parts of Maharashtra like Pune, Mumbai continue to be a source of worry. What does the picture look like today?
Yes, absolutely. Maharashtra is a source of worry. You know, as far as the number of cases go, yesterday, in fact, saw the highest spike, 1,500 cases. Of course, this includes pending cases from the last couple of days as well. Yesterday was 771 plus a few, plus at least about 700 pending cases. So therefore, the number of cases recorded just yesterday in the state of Maharashtra is more than 1,500, which is the highest single-day spike as far as the state is concerned. So that takes the total number of cases to more than 14,500, and Mumbai cases stand at more than 9,000. It's almost touching 10,000. And as far as the number of deaths are concerned, it's almost 583 as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned, with more than 30 deaths recorded just yesterday. So yes, the cases are increasing with each passing day. In fact, last 15 days, if you just take 15 days, the state of Maharashtra has recorded on an average 500 cases per day, and the number of cases have not come down. Of course, state government is taking several measures, because when we talk about containment zones, there are more than 1,500 just in the city of Mumbai alone. Relaxations have been given. And we saw the kind of chaos on the streets yesterday outside the liquor shops just in Mumbai. The relaxations pertain to liquor shops and also to standalone non-essential shops. Not many standalone non-essential shops were open, but liquor shops, of course, we saw the kind of crowding without any social distancing measures. Yes, the numbers are rising. Worli, Dharavi. Dharavi is seeing many cases. Yesterday saw 43 new cases. Day before, 93 new cases. So the numbers are on a rise when it comes to several slum clusters, be it Dharavi, Worli, Kurla, Govandi, Baikala. So yes, the problem areas continue to remain the same. As far as state government is concerned, they attribute this rise in the number of cases to the tests that are being made. More than 176,000 tests have been conducted in the state of Maharashtra, and of course high-level contact tracing. Now, Pallavi, if you just take Mumbai for instance, more than 70,000 beds are being put up just in the city of Mumbai, in hospitals and in quarantine centers. Many quarantine centers are being added with each passing day. Many grounds, sports centers and auditoriums, schools, colleges being converted into it, and BMC is also recruiting many medical professionals, because they are prepping for the surge in cases, as the cases are just not letting up. What the BMC and the state government is doing is to prepare cities such as Mumbai and Pune for the surge in the cases through more isolation, more quarantine centers, more testing. So yes, the numbers are worrying, and yesterday we saw a lot of crowding. Hopefully there will be some sort of streamlining of process and structuring on the roads. We did not witness that yesterday, but Mumbai police, when it comes to the situation we saw in Mumbai, the Mumbai police has taken several strong measures and have asked wine shops to come up with some sort of token system, asked people to not crowd around, and action will be taken if they crowd around, and they may just not let wine shops open if they see a lot of chaos on the streets.
I'm just going to go across to Sneha also, who tracks the health ministry for us. Sneha, is there reason to be worried, or is it a mixed bag?
If you look at the numbers today, not very good. We've done okay in terms of a recovery. Our recovery rate continues to be above the 27% mark, and that seems to be the only silver lining really today. And I can't call it a mixed bag. I'll tell you why. Because we have an increase in cases on a day-wise basis. I mentioned before, 3,900 cases. Which also sources indicate within the government that a doubling rate has already come down, Pallavi. I was talking about that this is expected, and it already has. In fact, it's 11 days right now. Our rate of growth of cases has gone up by over 6%. Earlier, it was hovering below the 6% mark. This is a cause of concern. However, this is not something that was totally unexpected. Easing out of the lockdown also means that more people step out, more people, sort of mingle with each other. And we've seen an example of this, a brazen one, yesterday when all, norms of social distancing were violated by people, and liquor shops, some of them had to actually forcibly close down and also lathi charge the people because all the violations were there for us to see. This was not expected, and the government also has taken note of this. Having said that, our cases going to be increasing in days to come, and doubling rates will be affected even further. By next week, we'll get a real picture, is what I've been told by a highly placed source in the health ministry, that we should be getting a real picture, and it is expected for cases to increase and for the doubling rate to be affected in this fashion. Also, what I want to quickly tell you is that one point that has been enforced time and again, that the infection is not going anywhere. We have to learn how to live with the infection, as has been communicated by the Delhi Chief Minister also. And the government of India says that we can just do this much. If we leave it on the people, if they adhere to the lockdown rules, and if they adhere to the social distancing rules, not the lockdown rules, because the lockdown is being eased out, then we can expect some sort of a respite. We may not see an exponential sort of an increase. However, it's too soon to say what really has happened in this case with the kind of peak that we are seeing. But also quickly, sources within the health ministry have also repeatedly underscored the point that there is a possibility of us also seeing a peak like the virus has behaved in all other countries. There is no reason as to why it will not peak in India. The hope, of course, is that we duck this trend.
Yes, I think that the warning sign did come in even from the Delhi government. Do hold on. We are going to shift focus to some ground reports. And it's been a month-long lockdown already. It has slowed down the spread of coronavirus maybe in some parts of the country. But what is worse perhaps is that it has separated families. Mufti Islah brings us this report.
Nine-year-old Sharik is living all alone in his home in Pulwama's Muran village. His parents, along with his 7-year-old sister, are in West Bengal at his grandparents' home. So Sharik cooks his meals, cleans his home, buys groceries and does his school lessons as well, with some help from his neighbors.
खाने की बहुत किल्लत है और पैसे भी नहीं है मुझे मेरी माँ बाप की बहुत याद आती है.
His parents and sister went to Murshidabad on the 8th of March after Sharik's grandmother met with a near-fatal accident. The sudden lockdown took them unawares and they couldn't return home. Sharik's managing quite well, but the 9-year-old has a request.
मैं मोदी साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ कि मेरे माँ बाप को घर लाओ. मुझे मेरे माँ बाप की बहुत याद आती है.
Sharik's hoping that more relaxations post the 17th of May will finally lead to a family reunion. With Mufti Islah, Bureau Report, CNN News 18.
Okay, now let's go to Shogato. Both Rishika and Shogato are with us. Shogato, in West Bengal, I think, when are the liquor shops opening? I mean, yesterday you did put out all those guidelines from the West Bengal government on, how this entire lockdown 3.0 going to be implemented.
Well, liquor shops have opened in Bengal. There were some confusion in the morning yesterday. The timings of the liquor shops, as per the Excise Department guidelines, would be from 12 noon to 7 p.m. And there are obviously strict guidelines as to what kind of social distancing need to be maintained. And police have had a rough time yesterday in Kolkata as well as in the adjacent districts in maintaining the rush like it has happened elsewhere in the country. But Bengal government is also promoting home delivery of liquor bottles. That is something that I believe some of the other states where the mad rush has been witnessed would also perhaps be taking up. But there are, as of now, no infrastructure, clear infrastructure guidelines which are in place as to how these shops, the retail shops, would be managing in home delivering liquor bottles to the customers. But having said that, the lockdown 3.0 guidelines have finally come from the Bengal government, where there have been certain relaxations that have been given. But let me tell you, Pallavi, that Chief Secretary Rajiv Sinha, while announcing those relaxations, first added a rider, and that rider was that the Bengal government believes that these relaxations now would lead to dilution of the lockdown. But since the Bengal government doesn't have a choice but to give relief to people, they would reluctantly, put in place certain guidelines, and those guidelines obviously are, in terms of green zones, a lot of activities have been permitted as laid out by the MHA circular last week, and that includes flying of intra-district buses with 50% capacity, no more than 20 passengers in each bus. Also, standalone shops outside of containment zones will now be allowed to remain open between 12 and 6. And that includes shops which are outside of the market zones. So a whole lot of shops and establishments are expected to be open, by today, which are outside of market shops. So that's one area that the Bengal government needs to keep an eye on. I'll quickly put in a few numbers that the Bengal government has put out yesterday. 516 containment zones in West Bengal, out of which
Okay, there's some news coming in from Surat. The evacuation of migrants from Surat is now picking up pace. 9 trains are being put into pace to evacuate the migrant labourers from Surat today. Janak Dave is going to get us those details in a bit from Ahmedabad. But remember this, after the MHA gave a nod for the return of the migrant labourers back home, there was this demand that there should be special trains, and they are called the Shramik Seva, Shramik trains, essentially to ensure that these migrant workers who are stranded in various parts of the country, they are able to go back home. And one of the first evacuation days taking place from Surat they are saying that 9 trains are going to be operational from Surat. I'm going to go back to this story in a bit. We also have Rishika from Hyderabad. Rishika, worrying signs really, because with the latest data is out. What does Andhra Pradesh and Hyderabad look like?
Well, Pallavi, let's look at Telangana first. Although numbers look a little okay at this point of time, because there have been only 3 positive cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of positive cases to 1,082. But what's worrying is yesterday the state health and the medical teams met the chief minister and told him that there are 4 areas that they've identified which can be completely classified into red zones. These are the 4 districts. That is Hyderabad, Vikarabad, Medchal and Rangareddy. More than 60% of the case reported in the entire state are from these 4 districts. And more than 80% of people who died so far in the state are from these 4 districts. So the officials have advised the chief minister for absolutely no relaxation in these areas whatsoever. In fact, if necessary, a stricter model of implementation of lockdown can be looked at in these areas, is what the officials suggested. Now, just a quick background. Unlike other states, Telangana has no relaxation up until now whatsoever. It's the same what was in the initial days of lockdown. Only for essential services, people are allowed to step out till 6 p.m. and post that everything will be shut till 7 a.m. next morning. Now, the guidelines suggested by MHA of relaxations were not implemented in Telangana at all. Slowly now industries are back up and running after the IT minister had indicated that we need to focus on economy. And today there is a cabinet meeting at 2 p.m. post which the further course of action of lockdown in Telangana will be decided. But now that the health officials have recommended that 4 areas, Hyderabad, Vikarabad, Medchal and Rangareddy, all of them next to each other are red zones. Most of the cases reported from these areas and no relaxations whatsoever. It doesn't look like there could be any sort of relaxation in Telangana now. Liquor shops were also not opened in Telangana. Neither were standalone shops open. So like I said, it's a complete model of lockdown. If you look at Andhra Pradesh on the other hand, they have been following centre guidelines and relaxations have been done. Standalone shops were open yesterday in urban areas, residential areas. Taxis and autos were allowed in orange and green zones. Salons and all were open. Liquor shops were open, and like every state, there was huge crowd, serpentine queues up until 3 kilometers. Police had tough time ensuring people maintaining social distancing. Despite that, the AP government said that where shops were found where social distancing norms were violated, so those were being shut and everything is under control. So it's a contrast in how the Telugu states are dealing with the lockdown. And if you look at the numbers in Andhra Pradesh, there are more than 1,650 positive
active cases in Andhra Pradesh as of now, and Andhra is testing a lot more compared to Telangana, more than 5,000 samples on a daily basis of what they're testing. If you look at Telangana at that time, they're testing a lot lesser when compared to Andhra. It's only in hundreds is what we're being told. But yes, Andhra is up for relaxations. I've already implemented it. But if you look at Telangana, it's a complete stricter model of lockdown, and looking at the suggestions by health officials, it doesn't look like we're going to have relaxations anytime soon. A cabinet meeting is scheduled to happen today at 2 p.m, post which we are likely to understand which way will Telangana go for the lockdown next.
Okay, now one of the pitfalls of the lockdown has been the hospitality sector. Now, the virus is eating away the economies across the world, but no one seems to be eating out. The restaurant industry is staring at an empty plate. Will people now come out to dine once the lockdown is over, or will be the big takeaway from the pandemic be the home deliveries? My colleague Natasha Menden has this report.
620 crores. That's how much the coronavirus pandemic will cost the Indian hospitality industry. Hotelivate study estimates a 27 to 32% erosion in earnings compared to last year. So it's clear, incredible losses, which mean businesses shutting down and massive job cuts. But some businesses are fighting back. Restaurants like Fig and Maple in Delhi have reimagined their business in lockdown. Chefs Radhika Khandelwal and Ravish Bhavnani have started home deliveries of food and cocktails. The couple handles all food preparations themselves.
We recently adapted to the delivery model, and although there is a steady incline in orders, it is nothing like how it would be when you run a proper restaurant. So we have also innovated. We have started sending out drink kits. We started sending out gift boxes, etc., which normally you wouldn't expect in a restaurant situation, but you have to adapt at this point of time.
The Sun in My Belly Cafe in Atlanta reopened as a grocery store.
And in 1 hour, we changed the business model completely. We all got behind his vision and just started pulling everything out. All the produce out of the walk-in, all of the back stock of paper goods, and we organized it as quickly as we could into a general store.
Dining out will not be the same either. Social distancing, masked waiters, hand sanitizers will be the norm. Even with this, a drop in footfalls is likely. A battered economy and rigid safety norms cannot be a restaurant's best friend.
Although we cannot predict the future, we do know at some point of time we will need government authorities to provide relief aid to small-scale businesses like ours, because a lot of lifelines do depend on our businesses.
Rent accounts for almost a third of a restaurant's revenue. The National Restaurant Association of India has asked for rent and tax waivers. Landlords aren't too happy about this. Governments in Singapore, Denmark, UK and Australia have been proactive in offering aid to the industry. In Singapore, the government has covered 75% of a worker's wages. So has the Danish government. Whether the Indian government will provide any such stimulus to the industry is yet to be seen.
Okay, there's some more news coming in, because another sector we all are looking at very closely is the airlines, when the flights will resume. Well, there's information coming in, and Manoj Gupta is helping us with that information. Top government sources are telling us that the government is in discussion with airlines to start the scheduled commercial services post the lockdown, which ends on 17th of May. It'll be a phased beginning of those services, and it's going to start first within India. The discussion is going on social distancing norms which can be maintained in the flight. Airlines and the ministry is working out to operate without compromising the health and the security concerns. There's a debate on vacant one seat and the burden that will have on the passengers. The ministry has asked the airlines to work out other measures so the passengers will not be paying for this additional burden. No final decision so far, because it's the Prime Minister who will have to take a final call. Zeba tracks the aviation ministry for us. You know, Zeba, I think you had only put out, we can expect that press conference coming in from the aviation minister. But more than that, is this formula really viable? What are the talks which have been going on behind the scenes?
Well, behind the scenes, there have been meetings, virtual meetings with airline CEOs and the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and now sources tell CNE News 18 that post the latest lockdown, that is post May 17, there are talks on
to resume domestic flight operations partially in a phased manner. This is something that we've reported in the past as well. The domestic operations will be the first to resume, and that will happen in a phased manner. Metro cities, important destinations will be resumed first, and then, of course, in a phased-wise manner, we will see a full resumption of flight operations. So this was one of the things that was discussed. Post-lockdown, what are the social distancing norms that airlines will have to be following? We have, of course, reported how airports and other aviation sectors have to really look at social distancing in their operations. Airlines will also have to leaving one seat, a gap of one seat between two passengers. This is something that was discussed in this particular meeting between the airlines and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Now, the question remains the burden, of course. Airlines said that the burden, of course, will have to fall on the passengers, considering they will have to sell lesser number of tickets. On this, the Ministry of Civil Aviation told them to figure out a solution. But the big piece of news is that after the latest lockdown, after lockdown 3, after May 17th, there are talks underway of a partial resumption of domestic flight operations. There will be absolute social distancing norms that will have to be followed. And all of this is, of course, at the talking stage. Now, today, the Minister of Civil Aviation, Hardeep Singh Puri, will also be addressing a press conference at around 3 p.m. We're sure to take these questions with him. But the final note, like you said, will have to come from the Prime Minister, and it will be a decision by the Government of India as to whether we are ready to resume flight operations.
And it's not going to be an easy one, and it's not going to be an easy decision to take, but many thanks, Zeba, for getting us those details with inputs, of course, coming in from Manoj Gupta. Well, news continues over here on CNN News 18. We're just going to be back more.